Throughout my life, I have craved beyond anything else to be a creative person. I've craved creativity since I was in elementary school when I would play soccer out in the schoolyard pretending to be either Messi or Ronaldinho. In middle school, I tried to be creative in terms of drawing anime characters to the best of my abilities, and that went all the way up until I would say high school. And in college, I mean, the most creative that I could ever have gotten and the best creative process that I ever had was in terms of writing papers. Even now to this day, writing and doing this whole YouTube thing is my way of saying that I want to be creative, that I want to make things. But I've gone through my fair share of creative ruts throughout my life as well. As I previously mentioned, I was drawing a lot in high school, but eventually, when I would see my other friends and their progress with drawing, I just decided to give up. And I mean, it was the same with soccer. I knew I was never going to be the next Messi, and that hurt me as a kid. But looking back on all of it, my friends and my family have always been there to support me in whatever creative adventure I've taken on. And I would say that even today, they are the reason why I keep trying to be creative. They constantly inspire me. They constantly drive my hunger to be creative, and I could never be any more thankful to them for that. I bring all of this up because I recently watched Look Back over the weekend, and it was just as inspiring then when I read it as a manga as it is now when I watched it as a film. Fujino and Kyomoto's story of what it's like to be an artist, what it's like to strive to be a better artist, is a story that will forever resonate with me. And the fact that this came from Tatsuki Fujimoto just makes me respect him so much more. Like, to have the range to go from something like Fire Punch and Chainsaw Man to Look Back and Goodbye Eri is insane. But I'm not going to pretend that Tatsuki Fujimoto has never had these kind of heart-wrenching and inspiring sort of stories in him before, because he has. But putting that aside, I would say that I would recommend Look Back to just about anyone, not just creatives, but as a film, I would recommend it to just about anybody. The highs that it reaches in its animation, its storytelling, and its music are some of my favorite, at least from this year. But with those incredible highs also comes some extremely emotional lows. But that's not to say that those emotional lows are bad, because they're really not. Part of why I like those emotional lows so much in Look Back are the fact that those experiences are very human. Like, even the more far-fetched aspects of what happens in the story of Look Back can be, although exaggerated, are still very possible in the real world. One example that comes to mind without getting too deep into the film is Kyomoto and Fujino have an argument, and they don't speak to each other for a while. And although they've been friends for years at this point in the film, it's still a very possible thing. And the root of their argument isn't even necessarily a personal disagreement with each other. It's more so about what their idea of becoming a better artist is, or what it takes to become a better artist would be a better way to put it. I don't want to go too heavily into spoiler territory with Look Back, because it is a film, like I mentioned earlier, that I would recommend that anybody watches. Because if nothing else that I've talked about so far appeals to you, then I think this is still an important film to watch if you have friends, if that makes any sense. And I say that because their friendship between Fujino and Kyomoto is one that makes me feel envious in a way. It's just heartwarming to the nth degree. And although at the start it follows the very cliche formula of rivals turned into friends, that turns into so much more later on. There's a specific montage towards the end of the film which highlights the beauty of Fujino and Kiyomoto's friendship and the beauty of having lived through that, which I think anybody can appreciate. Overall, Look Back was a wonderful experience as both a film and a manga. It's a piece of media that inspires me, and it's a piece of media that, at the end of the day, for me personally, has one clear-cut message at the end, and it's that no matter what, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how down in the dumps you are, it is very important to keep on going. Because at the end of the day, if you can inspire at least one person, according to Tatsuki Fujimoto, that's enough to keep on going. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys check out Look Back. If you do, please let me know what's one of your favorite moments in the film. And if you're a creative person who watches the film, let me know what your personal thoughts are on the messages of the film. Tatsuki Fujimoto is one of my favorite, not up and coming, he is one of my favorite mangakas at the moment. So if you've read any of his other works or watched any of his other works, because Chainsaw Man does have an anime, please let me know what your favorite work of Tatsuki Fujimoto is. And if you don't have one, that's cool too. I completely get that his form of storytelling may not be everybody's cup of tea, but it is what it is. I mean, I would say that for me personally, my favorite work of his is Goodbye Eri, and that's not a hot take. It's probably one of his most renowned works at this point in time. I still haven't read Fire Punch though, because I hear that gets really weird, but that's not saying much since I am also a big fan of Chainsaw Man. But enough about him. If anything, what's your favorite animated movie? Please feel free to let me know down below. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I appreciate the support. This has been Sagi Taco, otherwise known as Tiago, signing off. Hasta luego.